Hello, seniors. Welcome to the online learning classroom. This is going to be our new format for the rest of this week for sure. Probably on into the next few weeks, unless we avert this virus and are able to get back to class. I hate that we're at this position, but we're going to make it work and get through it. You won't need your textbooks for the remainder of the year. I'll put everything online. You'll find the links on the classroom page for you guys to do some work, and then it'll be a lot of Google Forms where you just type in your answers, send in the form, and I'll grade it and get your grades in the grade book. Um, all the assignments are mandatory. They are for a grade. Like Mr. Field said in the initial announcement, surely you've seen it. We are still taking grades. This does still count towards your GPA and that kind of stuff. So I do need to go ahead and take it serious. Um, this will also be a great lead in for you guys going to college, especially if you take any online classes. This will help you out in being familiar with some of this. You'll have a lot of this format when you get to college, and so this will be a great practice run for you, I guess. Um, like I said, we're gonna have a video for you every day. I'll have a worksheet or something for you, vocabulary, case study, um, debate, whatever it may be, and you'll just turn it in. And like I said, I'll get the grade to you. If you have any questions about the assignments, you need any help, you can call me or text me. Phone number is 806-781-5135. A lot of you have my number already. But if you have any questions on anything, just give me a text or call and let me know. Um, we're going to go ahead and get started. Um, we have we're going to move on to business organization in our economic studies. Um, Business organization, we're going to talk about the types of businesses that there are. There's four main types of businesses, and we're going to go through those real quick. This video is not going to last very long. Just going to get you some basic information, and then you'll be able to use this PowerPoint um, through the video. If you want me to put the PowerPoint on the website, just text me and let me know, and I can add that to that. Or you can just watch it from the video to help get your answers. You can also use Google. When it comes to vocabulary, I don't care if you copy and paste necessarily, but just make sure you know the terms because I will put those on quizzes or tests. For this lesson, you're going to have 10 vocabulary words that you're going to need to define, but you'll see that as you get going. So let's go ahead and get started. Chapter 8, Business Organization, Lesson 1. The first business that you're going to run into is a sole proprietorship, and this is basically just one person has an idea, kind of like the girl in the top right hand corner, a lemonade stand. That's a sole proprietorship for you guys. If you've opened up a business to mow lawns or cleaning service or whatever it may be, if it's you by yourself, that is a sole proprietorship. They're the smallest form of business. I missed the M right up here, but it's the smallest form of business operated by one person, and there's really no legalities necessarily as far as you may have to have some business licenses and certain fees to start up. Other than that, it's pretty simple. You can see the advantages there. Easy to start. You get to keep all the profits. You're your own boss. You don't have to answer to anybody, so that means you can set your own hours. The disadvantages to sole proprietorship is unlimited liability is the biggest one. Unlimited liability simply means that if anything goes wrong, if you have a lawnmower business and that lawnmower breaks down, then you are the one responsible for fixing that machine. The gas to run that lawnmower, you have to go out and pay for that. So you may have you get all the profits, but then at the same time, you're responsible for anything that breaks down that you may have to fix and or buy for your company. Limited managerial experience. You're not going to get a whole lot of people that that are going to be very experienced necessarily when they start their own business. They're not going to have a business background. They're not going to have the training that they may need. So that becomes a disadvantage. A lot of times you have a limited life in sole proprietorship, and that's just because life happens, especially if you're your own boss. If you fall on hard times, something happens at home, something happens in your life, then that can become a disadvantage to the business, where you would have to fold up and close shop. Here's just an example of a sole proprietorship. You got Jill's Lemonade Shop. You can see that she wants to start it off. She's got some money to make it happen. She opened up next to a community pool and hired some of her friends. That goes back to finding qualified employees. A lot of times, your friends are going to be the ones who want to work with you, but they may not be the best employees to have. But you can see that it was her own idea, but then you have the mayor coming in, taking some money from her because of taxes. She's responsible for those taxes. And then, if her lemonade shop burned down, then she's going to be the one out money to rebuild her shop. The next form of business that you're going to run into is a partnership. Partnerships are owned by two or more people. There really is no limit necessarily, but a partnership is just a group of people coming in together to form that business. You come into an agreement. The two types of partnerships that you're going to run into is a general partnership and a limited partnership. I'm not going to get into those because I want you to. One of your questions on your worksheet is defining the difference between a general and a limited partnership. So I'm going to let you guys explore and find out the difference between those two. They're very easy to start from the standpoint of they consist of drawing up papers to specify the arrangement. So it could be, if me and Coach Cherry were to open up a partnership with something to do with athletics, then maybe I'm responsible for one aspect of the company. He's responsible for the other. But just for legality purposes, we're going to put that into a contract so that legally we know each other's responsibilities. Advantages, just like a sole proprietorship, they're very easy to start, easy to manage. You don't have a lot of special taxes that you have to pay because of it being a partnership. You have more financial capital because you have more people bringing in money. And they're also larger in size. I don't know what that word was supposed to be. Operations are more efficient. Due to slightly larger size. Sorry. Disadvantages that you're going to run into for a partnership is that each partner is responsible for the acts of the other ones. So again, going back to mine and Coach Cherry's example, if Coach Cherry, or if I decide to be lazy and not do my part, then Coach Cherry is responsible for my decisions. He's responsible for my actions. So if I'm not a good partner for him, then that can hurt the business. It also contains a limited life simply because you've got people at the base level that are responsible. And so if I decide, hey, I'm done, or Coach Cherry decides he's done and wants to close up shop for whatever reason, then that could spell the end of the partnership. Plus, you can have conflict between the partners that can provide a disadvantage. The third type of business is a corporation. Corporations are legal entities, so they're just like a person. They have every right that a person has, except they can't vote. That's pretty much the only difference between a corporation and an individual. They do have to file through the national or state government to be able to form a corporation. You're given a charter. That's one of the words you're going to have to define. You're given a charter. That charter specifies the number of shares of stock that you can sell. You've got two different types of stocks that you can sell between common and preferred. I have you guys look those two words up as well, and also tell me the difference between the two. So I'm gonna let you look into that. The differences here for advantages and disadvantages for corporations versus anything else, or versus the other two that we've covered so far. There's a very big ease of raising financial capital simply because you're talking about a larger pot that you're pulling from. Limited liability. The actual owners are shielded in a way that the corporation takes the hit for any liability. So if anything breaks down, the corporation is responsible for it. If anything legally happens, the corporation takes part in that. So it's not on the owners. So as an owner, I'm not liable or as liable, I guess, as I would be if I was a sole proprietor or a partner. You have access to professional managers, unlimited life. Your corporation pretty much takes a life of its own, and so it's a lot harder for a corporation to close down than it is for the other two. Um, you're also, if your corporation is profitable, they can be issued dividends. Basically, that's a check that can be written back to the owners. One of the disadvantages that you do have is you run into a different level of taxation. So double taxation is when you get that dividend check, you are taxed from the corporation standpoint, and then you are also taxed from the individual standpoint. So that's that double taxation. So that Uncle Sam gets his money, but he's going to get it twice from you when you issue dividends, and so that's not a great situation there. You have shareholders. The shareholders are the actual owners of the company, but they have little say in how the business is run. Like I said, with that limited liability, the corporation kind of takes that life of its own, and so the corporation pretty much starts running itself, especially with those professional managers and those owners. As an owner, you don't have the ability to control the little bitty things like you would if you were a sole proprietor or a partner. You also have quite a bit of government regulation in a corporation, simply because you have to go through the government to file for a corporation, and so the government says, because you're coming to us to form your corporation, that we do have a little bit of say in what you can and cannot do. Those are things like OSHA regulations, where you have to do things a certain way. You can't just if you're an electrician as a sole proprietor, you may be able to change a light or a socket or something without flipping off the electricity because you're good at it. But if you were part of a corporation and you go try to do that same thing, then you have to follow the steps of turning off the breaker, making sure there's no electricity running to the outlet, and then change the outlet the safe way. So there's just a lot more government regulations that go into a corporation. And the final business that we're going to look at is franchises. A franchise is like you can see the list over here, the top franchises in 2018: McDonald's, KFC, Burger King, Pizza Hut, 7-Eleven, so on and so forth. Basically, what a franchise is, and the difference between a franchise and a corporation, I'll get into a little bit of it, but I'm going to have you guys explain a little bit more on the worksheet. A franchise is somebody who owns it, but they give you a license to run under that name. And so if you've ever gone through the McDonald's drive-thru, which I know a lot of you have, you can look on there, and it actually shows when you go to the drive-thru window, the one where you pick up your food. It actually shows, I believe, a plaque that says this McDonald's is owned by whatever their name is. And so those people went to McDonald's, paid a licensing fee or a franchise fee to be able to open up that McDonald's. So they're the owners of that McDonald's, but they're under the franchise who owns the actual name of McDonald's. Big advantages for both, for the franchise and for the franchisor. The franchisor is the person who owns it. The franchisee is the person who gets the franchise. So the plaque that's on the window that where you pick up your food, that's the franchisee. Whoever owns McDonald's is the franchisor. You get national advertising, professional advice, instant access to successful product line. I mean, everybody knows what McDonald's has, and so that's a successful product line. Same thing with Subway, same thing with Pizza Hut. Like what you're going to get, and so it's very easy to be successful because of that product line. As the franchisor, as the actual owner, you get to expand the business without excess financial risk or liabilities. The franchisee is the person who puts up all the money. So every time a new McDonald's opens, McDonald's is not fronting the money to open up that store. It's the actual franchisee, the person who is buying into the franchise. They're the ones putting up all the money. The income brought in by the initial franchise payment, and then you also have to, as a franchisee, you also have to pay a monthly royalty fee for the use of that name. Another advantage for the franchisor is the franchisee is highly motivated to make the franchise work. They're putting up all the money, so they're going to make sure that money is going to good use. They're going to run a successful product or a company. For example, and I don't know the 100% truth of this, but I know that like for a Chick-fil-A, for example, that's a franchise. If you were to open up a Chick-fil-A anywhere, as a franchisee, you would have to front, I believe it's like somewhere in the neighborhood of $1 million. So you have to have $1 million in capital to put up to open that up. If you don't have $1 million in capital, you don't even get it. You don't even get the opportunity to open up a Chick-fil-A. So that's it for our notes. Like I said, it's not very long, about 17, 18 minutes. But go back to this. If you want this PowerPoint on the website and not just on the video, then let me know and I can do that. If not, just go through the video and kind of pause it when you need to kind of help answer the questions. But you'll see on there you're going to have this video, you're going to have a worksheet, you're going to have vocabulary for this first day. Again, if you need anything from me, text me, call me, let me know. I'll do whatever I can to help you make this easy. Not trying to make your life difficult with this class, but we're gonna, like I said, we're gonna make it through. So if I can do anything for you, let me know. Otherwise, appreciate it, and we'll see you guys hopefully soon.